Good day, students. Once again, I just will be recording a very short video on cash budget. And because this is a cash budget, or in fact any other question, I prefer to start and read what is required. Prepare a cash budget for the month of December. Show supporting schedules for the collection from debtors, being credit sales, and for the payment to creditors, which is from the creditors' purchases, where we bought inventory on credit. Then we know that our target, very importantly, budget is the budget for the month of December. That is the budget month that we are looking at. So now, if we are doing a budget for the month of December, then let me immediately go and prepare my budget schedule. And I know that I'm doing cash budget for December. Then I say cash budget for December, then I will be recording all that is necessary. Cash budget for the month of December. And I know that my cash budget starts with the opening balance. Some of the exercises, they don't start with the opening balance. And I prefer to start with the opening balance on the 1st of December. And this will be the 1st of December, the first day of the month of December. We are not given the year, then I'll just check if is there any year. Then after the opening balance, I will write the amount of the opening balance. Then after I record the receipts. Then after the receipts, there will normally be cash receipts. My cash receipt will be here. Sorry for the writing. My cash receipt will be here. Then after, there will be what we call debtors collection, where we collected for the credit sales, debtors collection. Sometimes there might be other expenses, maybe loan from the bank, but so far we don't know. Let me just reserve it here and leave one line, then I know that there will be payments here. But please don't leave one line because there might be more items to be recorded under receipts, maybe interest income that is expected to be received from any other investment. It says that you have been instructed to prepare. This is an instruction, so we are following the instruction. You have been instructed to prepare the cash budget for December for Ashton Limited, a distributor of exercise equipment. The following information is available about the company's operation. So this is what is available. The cash balance on December 1st is 40,000 rands. Here is the opening balance. And I prefer to record my opening balance as 40,000 rands because it appears given to us as 40,000 rands. Remember, the assumption is the fact that this opening balance is a favorable balance. If it was unfavorable, that was going to be clearly stipulated. So whenever you are given a cash balance, unless they say unfavorable, therefore now that will have to be negative. Then it says the actual sales for October, actual sales for November, and budgeted or expected sales for the month of December are given to us below. We have sales for October, sales for November, and sales for December. And we have kit sales and we have credit sales separated. And this is very simple whenever these two are separated. Sometimes they'll say 80% is this and 20% is cash and others are credit. But very simple, we know that sales for cash made in October will be received in October. Cash sales for the month of November will be received in November. And cash sales for the month of December will be received in December. So this 83,000 will be received in the month of December. So I can record that cash receipt, 83,000 rands is the amount that I expect to receive in terms of cash sales. Then now we proceed to the next part, which is the credit sales, where the calculation must take place. Our credit sales is 400,000 rands, 525,000 rands, and 600,000 rands. The question is, how do we collect these sales? Then the policy is given to us below. Sales on credit, meaning sales on account, are collected over a 3-month period in the following ratios. 20% of sales are collected in the month of sale, meaning 20% of the sales of October are collected in October. And we are not doing a budget for October, so we don't need this 20% of 400,000 rands. Then after, they say 60% are collected in the month following sale. And the month following sale, meaning the month following the sales of October, will be November. Meaning 60% of the sales of October will be collected in November. And we are not doing the cash budget for November, so we don't need the 60% of sales of October, which will be collected in November. However, they say 18% is collected in the second month following sale, meaning 18% of the sales of October will be collected in the month of December, and we are doing a budget for the month of December. Therefore, now this is where the debtors collection will begin. Then now I do my debtors collection schedule, calculating the amount of sales that will be collected in the month of the budget, meaning the month of December. Then now my first heading will be months or sales month. Therefore, now I need sales for October, I need sales for November, I need sales for December. Then now I draw a line here. This is where my month. Then I need to know the sales for each of this month. Remember, October, November, December are the sales month, meaning October, November, and December. These are the given month that I've just recorded down here. Then I need to know the sales for the month of October, which is 400,000 rands. It is 400,000 rands. And November is 525,000 rands. And December sales, it is 600,000 rands. Then now I need to know what percentage of this sales is collected. Percentage collection. I need to know what percentage is collected. Then here I will have collection for December. Collection value for December. This is the collection value or collection amount for the month of December. So now I need to know that 18% of the sales of October will be collected in the month of December, because that is the second month following the month of sales. This is the 18% of the sales of October collected in the month of December, the one that I just have explained. So now meaning my 18% here will be 400,000 rands times by 18%. This will give me an amount of 72,000 rands. There should be 1 mark allocated for that when it comes to marks allocation. I want to emphasize also on that, because we are required to show the calculations or the workings. Then after, let us go to the second month sales collection. We have the same policy. Our policy has not changed. Therefore, now we are in the month of November. 20% is collected in the month of sales, meaning 20% of the sales of 525 in November will be collected in the month of November. And we are not doing the sales budget, in fact, the cash budget for November. So we don't need the 20% that will be collected in November. 60% of the sales of November will be collected in December, meaning 60% collected in the month following sale. So now that means 60% of the 525,000 will be collected in December, and we are doing a budget for the month of December. And we are definitely interested to that 60%. So now 60% will be collected in the month of December. Then 525,000 times by 0.6 will be collected in the month of December, and this will amount to 315,000 rands. Then we proceed and to say 18% of the sales of November will be collected in the second month. The second month, first month is December, second month is January, and we are not doing a budget for January. So we are not interested on the collection for the month that we are not busy with. Then we go now to the month of December. 20% is collected in the month of sale. The month of sale is December. So meaning 20% of the sales of December will be collected in the month of December. So now we are really interested in the collection of that 20% for the sales of December being collected in the same month of December. 600,000 rands times by 20% will give me an amount of 120,000 rands. So now this is the last collection that I had to do because 60% will be collected in January, and I am not interested in recording the collection of January because I am not doing the budget for January. So now plus this, it will give me 510,000 rands. Again 1 mark, again 1 mark, again 1 mark here. Obviously, if this is incorrect, therefore now this will also be incorrect. Or maybe if one of the above are incorrect, then this will also be incorrect, the final answer. But there should be marks allocated for all your workings because you were instructed to show all the calculations or all the workings. So now this amount should be a method mark once again. By taking this 507,000 and recording it in the right place, which is here, data's collection 507,000, there should be a method mark for that. Either the amount you calculated previously, which is this total, was incorrect, but by taking this amount and recording it in the right place, then there should be a mark given for that. So now this will be the data's collection. I am not sure if there will be something else that need to be recorded. There might be a loan that need to be borrowed from the bank. I don't know yet. So I can proceed with this question and see what else do I have. So now with regard to the data's collection schedule, that one is done and dusted, is complete. Don't forget that the 2% that is uncollected is uncollected. Maybe you're like, why did I ignore the 2%? The remaining 2% is uncollected. So money that is not collected is not collected. It is a bad debt or a credit loss. And credit loss is a non-cash item. So that is why I am not considering or taking this into consideration. Next bullet point says purchases of inventory will totally to 280,000 for the month of December. Take note of that. This is the purchase of inventory from our suppliers amounting to 280,000 rands. And it further says that 30% of the month inventory purchases, meaning 30% of the 280,000 is paid during the month of purchase, meaning 30% of this 280 will be paid in December. And we are doing a budget for December, and this is a payment, so we really need to know the creditors payment schedule. In other words, now then I have to erase my debtors collection. Then I will have a different language, which is creditors payments. Therefore, now I am doing the workings or schedule for the payments of creditors. Then a percentage payment here, meaning how much percentage will be collected. Then this will no longer be collection value but payment value. Amount that is expected to be paid in the month of December. Then the figures will definitely change based on our purchases payment policy. Therefore, now we are told that there are sales of the month of December, and the sales of the month of December amounted to, the purchases of the month of December amounted to 280,000. 280,000 are the purchases of December, and we are told that 30% of that is collected in the same month. So 30% of 280,000 rands is expected to be paid in the same month. So this is what we expect to pay. Let us go and see what I've just written to you. Perhaps you did not get everything. They gave us the total purchases for the month of December, and I've recorded that in the month of December, purchases 280,000. And they further told us that 30% of the month purchases, meaning 30% of that 280, is paid during the month of purchase, meaning during December, and the balance in the following month. So now meaning 70% of this will be paid in January, and I am not interested in the budget for January because I am not doing a budget for January. I'm only doing a budget which is cash budget for the month of December. Then let me check if is there any other further information regarding my credit purchases and the payments. The accounts payable remaining for November. So this is the balance for November. Obviously, after the 30% was paid, meaning what is left now is 70% of the purchases of the previous month. Let me hold that one there. Then it is the balance of inventory of purchases for the month of November amounting to 161,000 rands. All, not some, all of which will be paid in December. So this is for November, it will be paid in December, and I am doing a budget for December. So now the month is November. The amount is 161,000. Percentage collection will be 100%, obviously, because they said all will be collected in the month of December. So the full amount of 161,000 will be collected in the month of December. So now I can add the 284,000 plus 161,000. This will give me 245,000 rands, and this will be my payments to the creditors. Then now we go to the payments. Then we record creditors payments. We record creditors payments, and creditors payments is 245,000 rands. And this 245,000 is the payment to my creditors. Again, method mark should apply here. Why that should be the case? It is because this amount, remember, this working was required. This working was required. So 1 mark, 1, and this should be 3 marks. And this figure, it doesn't matter either is wrong. By transferring it there should be a method mark because workings were required. I want to emphasize on that. Workings were required. So we cannot just do workings for the sake of doing workings, but method mark should be applied to show that we've been transferring the right amounts in the right places. Method mark in accounting becomes very crucial. So now selling and administration cost or expenses are budgeted to be 430,000 rands for December. So these are the selling and admin costs that we expect to pay in the month of December, of which this include 50,000 rands of a non-cash item called depreciation. So now depreciation is included in that 430,000, meaning we need to deduct the 50,000 because depreciation is not a cash item. And a non-cash item should not be recorded in the cash budget because it is not a cash item. So selling and administration costs should be exclusive of the depreciation as a non-cash item. So now I will have selling and admin cost, which in total is 430,000 rands minus 50,000 rands of depreciation being a non-cash item. So now 430 minus 50 will give me 380,000 rands. That will be the total of my selling and administration expense. Then I go to the next exercise, and the next exercise is, or the next adjustment is a new web server for marketing department costing 76,000 rands will be purchased on a cash basis during December. So we expect to pay 760 for a new, there's supposed to be a space here for a new web server. So now this is expected to be a cash going out of the business in the month of our budget, meaning the month of December. So now I can say now web server, and this web server is 76,000 rands is the amount. So now the 76,000 rands is the amount of the web server that is expected to be paid in the month of December, which is the month of our budget. Dividends total 9,000 will be paid during the month. What is the during the month? During the month is the same month of December, because this is the same transaction or the same adjustment. So now 9,000 of dividends is expected to be paid in the month of December. So now here we can say dividends, and these dividends will amount to 9,000 rands. So now here is 9,000 rands of the dividends that is expected to be paid in the same month where we are doing the budget or cash budget. Then after it further say that the company must maintain a minimum cash balance of 20,000 rands, meaning the company wants to always have a balance at the end of the year. Obviously, closing balance becomes an opening balance. Therefore, now they want to make sure that their minimum balance, meaning their balance starts at 20,000 and above. If it's above 20,000, we do nothing. And remember, the opening balance was 40,000. And if the opening balance is above 20,000, we do nothing. But the company wants to make sure that at least their cash in the bank is not less than 20,000 rands. So now we do have that this minimum cash balance is 20,000, and they further say that an open line of credit is available from the company's bank as required. So now we can see that there's an open line policy for this, and this is the last transaction. Therefore, now I can record now all my total of the outflow of cash. Then after also record my expenses to see if perhaps do I have any deficit or a surplus when it comes to this budget. Then it will be 245,000. I'm calculating my payments, plus 380,000 rands, plus 76,000 rands, plus 9,000 rands. This gives me a total outflow of 710,000 rands. That will be a cash outflow. Then now let me calculate my receipts. My receipts will obviously include in the opening balance. Then 83,000 plus 507,000. If I add the two, I get an amount of 590,000 rands. So now I don't want to immediately determine if there is a deficit or a surplus or whatsoever, but I have to say opening balance plus receipt. This gives me 630,000 rands. And if I say 630,000 rands minus 710,000 rands, I can see that I am running at a negative balance of 80,000 rands. So now we can see that we need to borrow more money in the bank, and the money that we borrow in the bank must be above 80,000 by 20,000. In other words, it must be above 80,000 by 20,000. Therefore, now that means we need to borrow 100,000 rands. Now that we have noted that our total cash available, I just want to draw this line here. 40,000, this is just my workings, plus 590,000. This is 630,000. If we look at this 630,000 rands, this is cash available. This is cash available. What is available is 630, and what we want to pay is 710. We can see that the difference is honestly going to be negative because our payments are more than our cash available in the bank. So now that being the case, we discovered that the difference between the two, it is a negative 80,000 rands, meaning an unfavorable bank balance. Remember, the company wants to maintain cash in the bank at a minimum of 20,000 rands, not anything less than that. They always want to make sure that they don't have cash less than the 20,000 rands in the bank. So the question is, what then do we do in the scenario of this case? Therefore, we need to borrow money. There's no other way. We need to borrow money. There is no other way. So now, how do we then borrow money? It means now, when we borrow money, I always prefer this approach that I will tell you first. Then I will show you how some other people do the calculations for this. I prefer to draw a line here. Then after, I will have my my cash available. This is just my preferred approach. Cash available. And the cash that is available is 630,000. Let me just confirm. Plus 17,000. 630,000 rands. Then 630 minus this, it will give me negative 80,000 rands. Then getting this negative 80,000 rands, this will be a deficit. This is the deficit that is available. Therefore, now that we have the deficit, therefore now I will borrow money from the bank. Loan, and the loan will be 100,000 rands. Then I borrow loan of 100,000 rands. Then after borrowing loan of 100,000 rands, and please take note of what I'm doing. This is the payments, and the total of the payments is here, and these are the receipts, and the total of the receipts are here. And now that I am recording this loan, it does not mean it is under payments, but is under receipt, but I'm recording it just after my deficit, so that I'm very clear that I had a deficit of 80,000, and after the deficit, I borrowed a loan from the bank of 100,000. And remember, I can only know that I need to borrow money from the bank after I have recorded the deficit of 80,000 rands. The minute I see the deficit, therefore now I say, oh, then I need to borrow 100,000 rands. Therefore now, after I have borrowed 100,000 rands, therefore now I'll end up having a balance of 20,000 rands, which is equal to exactly the minimum closing balance that is normally required by the company. So now I will end up having the balance at 31st of the month of December, meaning 31st of the 12th month. And my balance will be 20,000 rands. And this is my preferred approach in terms of how to approach a question of this nature. But you'll see that in most of the solutions, they don't record it in my own method. They record it in their own method, where they will then now say, okay, because we needed money to be borrowed in the bank, therefore now the loan must be recorded under receipt, because honestly it is a receipt. So now they will say loan of 100,000 rands should be recorded under cash receipt. But obviously my cash receipt by now would have been closed. By now my cash receipt would have been closed. So hence I prefer to record that loan there at the bottom, not here on top. Therefore now they will normally do it like this, and I want to show you all the perspective, and this is the memorandum perspective or the memorandum viewpoint of the cash budget, so that when you see the solution you don't wonder why am I doing my own things, but it is just my own approach that I prefer. So now 630 plus 100,000, meaning I will end up now having a different total receipt of 730,000 rands. Then 730, now it will be 730 plus 40,000 opening balance, 770 minus 710,000, and again 40,000 plus 730,000. This is 770,000 minus 710,000. Don't know why this gives me 6,000 rands. Cash that needed to be borrowed was 100,000. Just want to confirm this one. Cash that needed to be borrowed was 100,000 rands. Then after borrowing the 100,000 rands, then I will end up having the loan balance of 20,000 rands. So let me just do my calculations again. We have 40,000 plus 590,000 rands, and okay, 40,000 rands plus 590,000. This gives us 630,000 rands, and we set 630,000 rands minus 710,000 rands. This gives us a negative 80,000 rands. Then after we set plus a total of plus a total of 710,000. Then that will give us 630,000 rands, and I don't know why this does not come to what I want it to be. So now the cash, let me confirm, 83,000 rands plus 507,000 plus 100, which is 690. Yes, I just have done something wrong here, or like something's wrong. So we have 690,000 rands. This is what this will be. 690,000 plus 40,000. It is 730,000 rands minus 710,000 rands. I just calculated things honestly different. I was wondering what am I doing wrong. So my balance at 31st of December will end up being 20,000 rands. Now what you then do, you just go and you add your cash that will be borrowed from the bank. Then you adjust your receipt to 690,000. Then after you add your opening balance, then you deduct your payments, you get to your bank balance. That is how normally the memorandum approach is looking like. I hope guys you have get knowledge in this question. Please do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that by subscribing to my channel, you get the opportunity to get a reminder or a notification whenever I upload a new video. And let me say thank you. God bless you.